Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we are the Castros.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
President Bongbong Marcos confirmed that former President Rodrigo Duterte has been flown to The Hague following his arrest. Marcos said the plane carrying Duterte departed the Philippines at 11:03 p.m. on Tuesday. The former president is set to face the International Criminal Court on charges of crimes against humanity related to his administration's bloody war on drugs. Accompanying him is his former Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea.
All right, now let's talk to former Senator Sonny Trillanes III, joining us again today only via Zoom. Sir, welcome to News and Views again.
Good morning po.
Good morning po.
Opo, kasama Diego and Miss Angela.
Senator, okay, let's get right to it. Ang daming nangyaring the whole day yesterday and ang daming haka-haka naglalabasan. Para linawin po natin, President Duterte is not yet guilty. He is going to haharap siya sa mga hukom po ng ICC. Ano po ang mga next step na mangyayari sa parte ng ICC?
Ang unang mangyayari po, as soon as mag-touchdown yung eroplano na nagdadala kay Duterte, siya po ay i-receive, ite-turn over po ng Interpol representative, yung Philippine authorities, ite-turn over siya. Iso-surrender si Duterte, i-receive siya. Tapos, i-detain po siya ng Netherlands law enforcers. Tapos, isi-schedule na ang hearing niya kaagad. At doon i-array na yung usual na proseso po ng korte. Ngayon, pero meron pa tayong mga inaantay na mga susunod na mga orders ng ICC. Ito na nga yung seizure ng kanyang assets
okay.
and other properties. So, inaantabayan na natin yan kasi historically magkasama po yan. Magkasama yan sa mga ganyang kaso. Ngayon, whether the President Marcos will abide by that order, titignan po natin kung anong magiging aksyon.
So, at linawin ko lang, Senator Trillanes, you said seizure of his assets. So, usually kasi ang seizure sa assets nangyayari po pag ang kaso is in nature nakatali po sa korupsyon. So, ito, crimes against humanity, kasama din po yun.
Opo, kasi yung mga proceeds of the crime, kasi in the case ni Duterte, nakadikit siya sa illegal drugs, yung cartel. Kaya niya ginawa yung war on drugs para matakot yung lipunan, para hindi siya maimbestigahan. At yun na nga, to protect yung kanyang drug lord na partner na si Michael Yang. At ito rin ay para mapatay nila yung kanilang kompetensya. So, yung mga sinasabi niyang ito, ginawa ko para sa lipunan, pang cover up lang yon dun sa ultimate agenda niya, which is to monopolize the illegal drug trade. So yung proceeds of the crime, pati yung kanyang pag yung war on drugs niya na yun, dahil doon natakot din yung iba't ibang sangay ng gobyerno, kaya marami silang na-commit na acts of corruption, di ba? Yung Pharmally, yung sa Frigate, yung intelligence funds, confidential funds, ang dami hong nanakaw ng pamilya Duterte. At na-discover ko to nung even before he was president.
Yes.
Kaya yan ay i-freeze yan, i-confiscate.
Senator, before we dig deeper into this issue, into this to what has transpired yesterday, I would like to get your reaction muna doon po sa arrest na nangyari yesterday. And if I can remember it correctly, you were here two weeks ago and you called it here first. And you said that soon talagang ilalabas na yung ICC arrest warrant for or against President Rodrigo Duterte.
Nakita naman natin, recorded siya in video, tapos yung mga police na nag-implement or nag-enforce nung arrest warrant, naka-body cam pa sila para talagang makikita na strictly observed yung proper serving of the warrant. His rights were not abused. Tapos yung due process was strictly observed. Kaya yun yung nakikita natin na pinagkaingat-ingatan din ng Marcos administration, and full credit to the Philippine National Police for observing the proper arrest protocols.
Yeah, regarding yung arrest protocols, Senator Trillanes, I don't know if you saw yung statement ni Attorney Sal Panelo. Sabi niya they will compel or ask the Supreme Court to have former President Duterte ipauwi sa Pilipinas dahil siya po ay kinidnap daw. Ano po reaction natin doon, Senator?
Iyan po ay mga mga smokescreen, mga panglilihis sa issue, panglinlang. At coming from Mr. Panelo, alam nyo, isa siya sa nagpasubo kay Duterte kasi sabi niya fake news daw yung warrant na kumakalat nung over the weekend. O di dahil dyan, kaka-fake news nila, di sinubukan nila. At yan nga ang nangyari. Anyway, ganito, kahit na ano pang gawin ng Korte Suprema, sabihin na pababalikin, that is physically impossible at this point, legally impossible kasi once lumapag sa Netherlands yung eroplano na nagdadala kay Duterte, eventually ite-turn over siya doon. So the jurisdiction now over his body belongs to the ICC. Paano obligahin ni Mr. Panelo yan? Ngayon, ano lang yan? Pampaasa lang nila sa kanilang mga supporters. Pero gusto kong liwanagin ito na dinadala nila dun sa legal arguments, technicalities na bawal ito or unconstitutional ito. Hindi po yan ang primary issue dito. Ang primary issue dito ay karapat-dapat ba si Duterte managot dun sa libo-libong nangamatay nung panahon niya? Ang sagot dyan, oo. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-aabuso ng iyong kapangyarihan tapos you expect to get away with it. Hindi. Ito po yung nangyari na yan. Meron din legal basis yan. Dati tayo sa membro ng ICC at nag-ruling na ang Korte Suprema na kahit hindi tayo membro ngayon, yung jurisdiction pa rin ay meron ng ICC nung panahon na miyembro tayo. Kaya ito yung pinapanagot niya. No? Meron din tayong Republic Act 9851 na nakasaad doon sa Section 17 doon na kung may isang akusado na iniimbestigahan ng International Tribunal, ang ating gobyerno may surrender that accused person to that International Tribunal. Covered po yan. Walang nilabag na batas.
Pero what if, Senator, he invoke his, what do you call this, his immunity, no? Saying na nangyari yung krimen na yon, I was still indeed the president.
Ganito po yan. Pagka ginawa po natin yan, sabihin, pagka presidente ka, mag-utos kang patayin mo kalahati ng population mo, anyway, you are immune from lawsuits. Hindi po it doesn't make sense. No? Ang immunity po ay hindi ka lang makakasuhan habang ikaw ay presidente. Pero pagkatapos nun, wala ka ng immunity. Pwede ka nang makasuhan. Kaya lang naman nilalagay ng immunity para hindi ka mahaharas, hindi ka makukonsumo o madidistract yung attention mo kasi kung kakasuhan ka kaliwat kanan, di-attend ka ng mga court hearings noon. That would make it very difficult for you to perform your duty. Kaya po sinasabing pero hindi ka wala kang natipong hindi ka magkakasala, hindi ka pwede mapanagot sa krimen na gagawin mo.
Senator Sunny, you mentioned na siyempre, presidente si Duterte at that time, tapos nag-utos siya. Ang tatanong ko po is related to that. Si Senator Bato has been quiet these last 2 days, which was medyong, for some, sanay tayo, he's speaking out. For President Duterte ngayon, tahimik siya. Ang tanong, is he next and can he testify against Duterte or is he one of the primary suspects?
he is definitely next, no? Yung sa tanong na kung pwede ba siya magtestigo labang kay Duterte, theoretically pwede, pero sa bigat po ng krimen niya, ka-level niya kasi si Duterte, co-principal accused siya. Dahil hindi magagawa ni Duterte yung malawakang patayan kung hindi ito nag-participate si Bato de la Rosa. Kasi kung umayaw si Bato de la Rosa, wala hong namatay eh. Kaso sila pa yun, kung maririnig nyo. Isa pa tong pasiga-siga, no? Naghari-harian din ito nung panahon ni Duterte. Tapos ngayon, kung nagtatago-tago na nga talaga, nakita nyo na. Yung tapang nila, ando dun lang nung sila ay nasa poder. Pero pag andyan dyan na, papanagutin na, nawawala na.
What do you have to say po, Senator, doon sa nagsasabi na by allowing the ICC to take jurisdiction of former President Rodrigo Duterte in our own country is blatantly saying na we cannot hold our own citizen accountable? And that parang hindi talaga gumagana yung justice system natin.
Hindi kaya nga doon sa ICC, meron nakalagay doon yung complementarity provision. Meaning, pagka itong bansa natin is unwilling and unable na i-prosecute yung mga nag-commit ng crimes against humanity, then doon lang po papasok yung ICC. Kasi may precedence yung ating local courts. Kaso wala naman hong kaso. Wala hong kasong crimes against humanity against Duterte up to now. Ilan taon na ho. Kahit nasa investigation phase, wala. Kaya doon natin masasabing unwilling and unable yung local courts natin, justice system natin, in as far as prosecuting yung mga mastermind dito. It doesn't mean na yung legal or justice system natin is a failure or hindi talaga nag-work at all to everyone. Hindi, nag-work siya sa mga ordinaryong tao, pero doon kay Duterte hindi siya nag-work.
So, Senator Sani, why is the government then unwilling and unable to file a case locally against the former President Duterte? I mean, may evidence naman tayo from the Quadcom hearing, so pwede po kasuhan natin siya sa mga korte dito kahit na meron sa ICC.
Yun na nga, that's the question. Wala Bakit wala? 6 years si Duterte nakapwesto. Nangyari yung patayan nung nandoon siya. Walang i-file. Nung nag-file kami ng investigation sa Senado, we whitewash. Tapos nung nag-file kami ng impeachment para managot siya, ni Railroad. Tapos ngayon, nung yung DOJ, winarningan na siya. Si Menardo Guevara, winarningan na sila. Filean nyo sila kung hindi, papasok kami. O hindi niya finailan, hindi niya inibisigahan, inabsuelto pa. So doon mo makikita na demonstrate na unwilling and unable ang ating justice system to prosecute Duterte. No? Again, liliwanagin natin, yung failure ng justice system is limited to Duterte because it works sa ibang tao. Doon mo makikita. Kasi nga naman, kung ikaw ay piskal, ikaw ay prosecutor, hindi ka ba matatakot na imbestigahan mo si Duterte? O kung ikaw judge, hindi ka ba matatakot na imbestigahan mo si Duterte? So ganun yun. Kaya wala po siyang kaso up to now.
Kanina po, Senator, kausap ko po sa kabilang programa yung isa sa mga lawyers ng mga victims of this drug war at sinasabi niya po, although hindi pa daw po pwedeng pangalanan yung mga petitioners doon, parang mga 19 daw po sila doon, doon para sa International Criminal Court na haharap. I remember you also posted yesterday na kayo po yung una naghain ng reklamo po sa ICC. And moving forward, what will be or will you have a role in this trial sa ICC?
Ako po, wala naman po akong specific na role as a witness. No?
Yes.
Tayo lang po ay nag-coordinate ng evidence gathering, ng pag-handle ng mga at pag-protect ng mga testigo. Yun po yung ating naging role. Pero kung kakailanganin po ang ating testimonya for whatever reason, handa po tayo. Pero ang alam ko ay si Senator Laila de Lima ay haharap siya bilang testigo.
Okay, Senator Sunny, sino po ang mga susunod? You mentioned Senator Bato, paano si former PNP Chief Albayalde, VP Sara?
Ang na ating naririnig ay yung mga nasa baba, no? Subordinate officers, generals and colonels na hindi po na mako-cover nitong ICC kasi nakatutok yung ICC sa mga ultimate masterminds. Pero dun sa mga nasa baba, yan naman ay kakasuhan doon sa local courts using Republic Act 9851 or Crimes Against Humanity. Kaya dito sila harap ng kaso.
Okay.
Ganun pa rin naman yun.
Senator, will si Garma be asked to testify sa ICC?
Well, I can't comment on that. Basta ang masasabi natin, yung pagka nag-issue kasi ng warrant yung ICC sa isang akusado na hindi member state, ang kanilang threshold ng evidence is certainty of conviction.
Okay.
Ibig sabihin nun, dumating sila ng punto na to na kahit na yung hawak lang nila ang ebidensya na gagamitin nila sa paglilitis, na yan, aabot na sa conviction. Yung kasing mga akusado who belong to member states, kahit na probable cause lang, pwede na nilang issuehan ng warrant. So, pag na-issue lang ng warrant, tuloy-tuloy lang yung evidence gathering nila kasi member state naman yun, so may full cooperation. But in our case, before they issue this warrant, they already have enough evidence to convict Mr. Duterte.
Senator, would you know po ba kung merong bail or piyansa itong kaso na ito? At po pwede ba yun doon?
Wala po. Ngayon, meron siyang right for interim release na tinatawag nila kung may extreme circumstances that may justify yung interim release. Siguro kung ooperahan siya sa puso, kung anuman na severe, hindi pwede yung mga routine check-up na sinasabi nila o by virtue of being having an old age, hindi po yan magsusuffice. Kaya kasi sa gravity ng kaso niya, kailangan naka-detaine siya.
Si former Presidential Harry Roque po yesterday is calling for supporters to gather at the EDSA to protest of what happened po yesterday. Your reaction to that po?
Time and again, nakita natin na yung genuine outrage ay medyo manipis. By the standards ng EDSA 3, kung maalala po ninyo, yung kay former President Estrada, nung kinulong siya, talagang naglabasan sa EDSA yung mga supporters niya. Daang-daang libo po yun. Yun yung makikita natin na standard. Pero dito, in the case ni Duterte, kahit sa Davao, mga 1,000 mahigit lang yung lumabas kahapon. Sabi ko nga, hindi natin kailangan maliitin yan kasi pwede mag-snowball yung mga ganyang protest actions. Kaya kailangan pa rin magmanman ng husto ng Marcos administration. At the same time, they need to continue to communicate to the public na tama itong ginawa, tama yung proseso, hindi po nalabag yung karapatan ni Duterte at wala pong na-violate sa konstitusyon natin.
Senator, ngayon we all know si former President Duterte is running for mayor po sa Davao City. So now what will happen to that yung pagtakbo niyan? If he wins, paano po ito makakapekto?
Kaya at this point na once ultimately ma-turn over na sa ICC etong si Duterte, pwede na mag-file ng disqualification case etong si mayoral candidate Carlo Nograles kasi physically hindi na siya pwedeng makapag-serve. Kaya unfair po 'yan sa mga mamamayan ng Davao City. Kaya that will justify the disqualification of Duterte as a candidate for mayor.
Bakit daw po kayo nung nakaraan, nung kayo po ay nakulong, kumandidato pa rin naman po kayo, and even you even won, kahit po kayo ay nasa kulungan?
Yes, because nandito ako, tapos eventually, di ba, nung nakalabas ako, nakaserve ako. Pero in his case, hindi na yan makakaserve at this point in time. Kasi iba, sabi ko nga, certainty of conviction na yan. Tapos that trial per se may take a while. Definitely, malalagpasan yan yung 3 years na term ng isang mayor.
So, Senator, I want to circle back dun po sa inyong yung initial reaction po ninyo nung nangyari po to yesterday na i-aresto na po siya mula sa NAIA, dinala sa Villamor Airways, etc. What was your initial reaction personally? Of course, did you think about the victims of this alleged drug war? And what else? What else did you feel po? Knowing na isa po kayo talaga sa mga kritiko ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte.
Talagang nung eventually nahuli na, talagang siyempre we allowed ourselves a few minutes of celebratory mood kasi culmination nga yan ng ilang taon na pagbabantay, pagsusubaybay at pagtutok dito sa kaso na ito at yung mga yung mga nakasama natin along the way na tumulong dito. So we were very grateful. At yun na nga, simbolo ito ng unang hakbang sa hustisya nung libo-libong mga namatayan. Yan po. Then after a while, balik tayo kasi dun sa punto na hindi pa tapos. Dahil kailangan pa niyang makalabas. So eventually, nung nakalabas na, again, celebratory mood. But then, reality bites again na marami pang gagawin. Mahaba pa yan. May continuous pa na evidence gathering para naman kay Bato de la Rosa. Ito namang next, itong si Sara Duterte, yung kanyang impeachment. Nakita nyo naman. We have to continue to purge our political system of these kinds of political leaders. Yung nag-aabuso ng kapangyarihan, nang-aapi at nagpapatay ng sarili niyang mga konstituente. Yan po ang the worst. Kasi nung binoto sila ng mga tao, ay ang idea nila is pangangalagaan ng mga leaders na ito, yung interest nila, yung kapakanan nila. Pero baliktad sila pa yung pinatay Yun po.
Lastly, Senator, of course, how long do you think it will take to get a acquittal or a conviction on this case ni Pangulong Duterte? And may mensahe po ba kayo kay former President Duterte na ngayon would probably be detained already at The Hague?
Masyado marami hong ebidensya. Depende ho yan kung how fast or yung frequency ng trial. Kung magta-trial po sila ng mga twice a week, that will take siguro mga 2.5 years dun sa presentation ng evidence ng prosecution and probably another a year and a half for the presentation ng evidence. So mga 4 years po siguro ito aabot kung mga twice a week yung kanilang hearings. If faster, then but it cannot go any shorter than 3 years. Now, ang message po natin sa kanya ay tanggapin niya na ito bilang penance niya. Dun sa lahat ng kamalian na nagawa niya sa kanyang buhay, he can take advantage of this to purify his soul, no? Talagang bumalik siya sa Diyos and dito sa last chapter ng kanyang buhay, hopefully magkaroon siya ng moral cleansing and to prepare him for yung next life.
Siguro very quickly lang po, kung nakita niyo po ba yung mga photos ni former President Rodrigo Duterte on social media last night, yung nakahiga po siya, may oxygen, nakita niyo po ba yun?
Yes, lumalabas yun.
Kasi lahat po ng mga supporters niya, of course, naawa. Kayo po ba? Naawa po ba kayo?
Well, una-una, pinopoint out nga ng mga kasama namin, hindi nakakabit daw yung tube doon sa gas, doon sa oxygen mismo. Pero ito yan, si Duterte, maaring may edad na siya ngayon, pero ang kailangan alalahanin ng mga kababayan natin, nung panahon na naghari-harian siya sa ating bayan, 2016 to 2022, naalala ninyo nung pinagmumura niya kung sino-sino, minura niya yung Diyos, minura niya yung Pope, lahat nagsiga-sigaan ito, inutusan na gamitin yung kapangyarihan niya para i-persecute yung mga kalaban niya sa politika. Kita niyo si Senator Laila de Lima, inosente, pinakulong para matakot yung mga kritiko niya at yung members ng political opposition. May mga members ng civil society, church, tsaka media na pinapatay para lang masampulan. Yun ang imahe na tatandaan ninyo. Yung imahe ng isang halimaw na naghari-hari sa ating bayan noong mga madidilim na taon na sila ay nasa poder. Yun po ang tatandaan natin, hindi po yung itong kaawa-awa na itsura ngayon. Kasi ganyan sila eh. Kagaya ni GMA noon, nung nakapwesto, with impunity din ang galawan. Pero nung ito na, wala na sa poder, may neck brace na, may wheelchair pa. Yun na yun eh.
Alright, on that note, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras muli. Thank you for your time. That was former Senator Sonny Trillanes III. Hopefully, we can have you again soon. Thank you, sir.
Maraming salamat po.
Now, let's take a look back at former President Rodrigo Duterte's arrest on a warrant from the International Criminal Court, or ICC. Here's the report.
By virtue of the warrant of arrest issued by the ICC for crimes against humanity. Sir, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte remained calm as he was read his Miranda rights when he arrived at the VIP Lodge in Kalayaan Hall, or the 250th Presidential Airlift Wing at Villamor Air Base in Pasay City on Tuesday morning. He was taken there after being arrested at Ninoy Aquino International Airport, Terminal 3. CIDG Chief Police Major General Nicolas Torre personally served the arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court for alleged crimes against humanity. This is in connection with the alleged extrajudicial killings during the Duterte's administration's war on drugs. But in a video, Duterte questioned his arrest.
Show to me now the legal basis for my being here. As apparently I was brought here not of my own volition. It's somebody else's.
Inside with Duterte were his common-law wife, Hanilet Advencenia, his daughter Victoria Kitty Duterte, former LTFRB chairman and Duterte's lawyer Martin Delgra, and former Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea. Other allies of the former president attempted to follow him, including former presidential aide Senator Bongo, who even brought food. But none of them were allowed entry into Villamor. Hanilet even tried to fetch the senator, but it only led to tension.
Notary lang siya. Notary lang. Notary lang. Notary lang. Notary lang. Notary lang. Notary! Karapatan ng presidente yan. Wala nang kaso eh.
The scenes during Duterte's arrest were condemned by Go and former DOLE Secretary Silvestre Bello.
The process should be, if there is really a warrant of arrest, it should be given to our Department of Justice para sila mag-implement. Oh, pero at saka kung talagang meron silang warrant of arrest, ang daling gumawa ng kopya, picture nila, pakita nila. Bakit hanggang ngayon di nila pinapakita? So imaginary yung warrant of arrest. Oh, bakit hindi nila pakita para makita ng buong bayan?
Supporters also rushed to Villamor to keep watch. They claimed they were not paid to be there and came willingly. Meanwhile, in Davao City, supporters of the former president lit candles at Rizal Park to protest his arrest.
For his part, President Bongbong Marcos denies that former President Duterte's arrest was unlawful. In a late Tuesday press conference, Marcos said that the government followed legal procedures and assisted Interpol, not the ICC. He also emphasized that the case against Duterte started in 2017 dismissing claims of political persecution. The president praised law enforcement for carrying out their duty professionally.
This case started in 2017 when we were still members of the ICC, and it was during the time of former President Duterte. So I don't see how that can be political persecution on my part, because it was initiated before I even came into the pictures.
Well, several news agencies have said, from international news agencies, have said that what the Marcos administration did was smooth and swift.
Very smooth.
And swift. We're not saying na sinasabi it's right or correct. No, we're just saying smooth and swift.
Well, because apparently
yung process.
they received the warrant at 3 in the morning, no? And from then on, if it weren't for Kitty Duterte, tawag na sa social media dyan sa kanya mobile journal.
May tawag sila kay Kitty Duterte ngayon sa Facebook, parang journalist Duterte.
Yun nga
Journalist Kitty for the day.
Or mobile journal nga daw na Kitty Duterte. Because if it weren't for her, we won't be able to know.
Exactly, I was gonna say that. In all fairness to Kitty, kung hindi dahil sa kanya, wala tayong mga pictures or snippets of anong itsura or demeanor ng former
what
president.
Was happening talaga at that time.
Of course, yung connection, wala tayong connection with the man himself. Of course, we want to see that because what the PBBM admin wanted sana was yung medyo quiet and swift, diba? So, ayun, yung mga pictures, yung sa tangke.
Yung mga live niya sa Instagram. Yun ang mga pinanood ng mga tao. All right, we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. The children of former President Rodrigo Duterte have strongly condemned his arrest. Here's a report.
After escorting former President Rodrigo Duterte to his plane at Villamor Air Base on Tuesday night, the facility went into sudden lockdown, closing all gates. A few moments later, Vice President Sara Duterte's convoy arrived at Gate 1 with their aide requesting clearance from the PNP to enter. However, the request was denied. The standoff lasted for half an hour, with only a few police officers present, making the scene calm despite the negotiations. News 5 exclusively broadcasted VP Sara's arrival, prompting her supporters, media, and allies to rush to Gate 1. VP Sara then stepped out of her vehicle, saying she wanted to speak with her father before his departure to give final instructions.
Hindi ko alam dahil hindi nila ako pinapapasok dito sa airbase. Nakiusap ako kung pwedeng makausap ko personal si former President Rodrigo Duterte para mabigyan ko siya ng instructions and then makabigay din siya ng instructions sa akin.
She claimed to have spoken to her father over the phone, but poor signal made it hard to understand each other.
Nagkausap kami kanina pero medyo choppy kasi yung signal dun sa loob kasi ginajam yung signal. Naintindihan ko lang naman sa kanya, sabi niya na wala tayong magagawa. Parang the way I say it, sabi niya, that's life, kesera-sera. But then I told him na some instructions on what to say and what to do. Pero sa totoo lang, dapat hindi talaga yan umalis ng bansa si former President Rodrigo Duterte.
Meantime, the Vice President strongly opposed the government's decision to hand over her father to the ICC.
There is no legal basis at all to turn over or to endorse the former president to ICC. So, wala silang kung para sila sa justice at sa batas, walang batas dito eh. So nasaan sila? So does that mean na parang he had it coming even if hindi sumusunod sa batas? Kaya nga sabi ko kanina, diba? Sabi ko, gagawin nila kung anong gusto nila.
She also claims that her father's arrest did not follow the proper legal process.
kahit ang ibang bansa nagsalita na, 'di ba? At saka saan ka ba naman nakahanap ng military airbase na chief PNP ang in charge at siya ang nagsasabi kung sino ang pwedeng pumasok at hindi pumasok. Kausap namin yung aming ICC lawyer and sinabi niya this has never happened before at sinabi niya na it's craziness.
For his part, her brother, Davao City Mayor Sebastian Duterte, also condemned his father's arrest and called it a political maneuver by the Marcos administration. He also claimed that the former president was kidnapped by authorities. Meantime, Veronica Kitty Duterte, who was with the former president at the airbase, claimed her father was taken without notice. She posted an Instagram story showing a police van saying her father was forcibly taken and put on a plane. In another post, she called it a quote, kidnapping, and used the hashtag #NeverForget. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, We Are One News.
Supporters of former President Rodrigo Duterte gathered at Rizal Park in Davao City on Tuesday to denounce his arrest. They lit candles and offered prayers in solidarity with the former leader. Protesters also called for President Bongbong Marcos to step down. Some traveled from as far as Basilan to join the demonstration, underscoring their unwavering support.
Sana po magising tayong lahat. Sana po maramdaman natin ang ginawa ng Tatay Digong natin. Sana po. Sobra po, alam nyo, gaano namin minahal hanggang sa huling patak ng aming dugo po. Ang pagmamahal namin sa mga Duterte po. Yan po. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay po ang mga Duterte.
Now to get the latest situation in Davao, we have News 5 Davao correspondent Bril Montalvo. Bril, there are reports coming in na umalis na daw si VP Sara Duterte kaninang alas 7 or 7:40 in the morning to Amsterdam. Is that true? Do you have information on that?
Bril, audio.
We can't hear you.
Ayan. Yes, Angela, Grego, tama kayo dyan. No? Kinumpirma mismo ng opisina ng Vice Presidente na nakaalis na patungong Amsterdam, Netherlands. Ito nga si Vice President Sara Duterte kaninang pasado alas 7 ng umaga. At ayon din sa aming source, ay papunta din doon ang si First District Congressman Paulo Pulong Duterte para puntahan at tingnan ang sitwasyon, ang kalagayan ng kanilang ama na papunta na din doon sa The Hague, Netherlands.
Bril, ano yung mga damdamin dyan? Yes, Bril, ano yung damdamin ng mga taga Davao dyan sa nangyari yesterday? No? Siyempre, yesterday medyo bugso pa ng damdamin yan. But today, day 2, do you think may mga several activities pa coming or medyo kakalma na?
Alam mo, Diego, kahapon nang malaman ng ilan sa mga Davaoenyo at mga supporters ng pamilya Duterte ang nangyaring pag-aresto kay former President Rodrigo Duterte doon nga sa paglapag niya sa Ninoy Aquino International Airport sa galing Hong Kong ay labis ang galit at pagdismaya ng mga Davaoenyo at mariin nilang kinundin na ang naging hakbang ng gobyerno sa pag-aresto kay former President Rodrigo Duterte. At may nakausap nga tayo kahapon ng mga Davaoenyo at sabi nila na nasa likod na daw sila ng pamilya Duterte at nananatiling nakasuporta sa kanila. At yung isa din na senior citizen na 70 years old ay pumunta pa doon sa venue kung saan dinanap ang prayer rally at ito nga candle lighting ceremony. At sabi niya na nananakit daw ang kanyang dibdiba nang malaman na inaresto si former President Rodrigo Duterte at tanging ginawa niya lang ay pinagdadasal na lang niya ang kalagayan at sitwasyon ngayon ng dating presidente. At hindi lang mga taga-Davao ang pumunta dito. May nakausap din tayo galing pa ng iba't ibang parte ng Mindanao, sa Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Basilan. Dumako pa sila dito kahapon para makiisa doon nga sa sinagawang candle lighting activity dito nga sa Davao City in support sa pamilya Duterte at maging eto nga kay former President Rodrigo Duterte.
Bril, may sightings ka ba ng dalawang anak ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte dyan, si Pulong at saka si Baste, sa mga gatherings or any other event na nakita mo dyan yesterday? Nakita mo ba sila?
Alam mo, Angela, kahapon nga ay pasado 11:00 na ng gabi nang matapos itong candlelighting activity in support kay former President Rodrigo Duterte at hanggang sa natapos hindi natin nakita or hindi dumalo, hindi pumunta ang sino man sa pamilya Duterte, maging itong si Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte at si Davao City First Issue Congressman Pulong Duterte. So no show ang mga Duterte sa ginawang pagtitipon-tipon kahapon ng mga supporters ng pamilya Duterte doon nga sa Rizal Park dito sa Davao City.
So moving forward, Bril, may mga rally ba magaganap this next few days to, in support of former President?
Alam mo kahapon na ng gabi bago matapos itong prayer rally at candlelighting ceremony dito sa Davao City is tinanong ni Councilor Davao City Councilor Ryan Alejandre kung may plano ba itong mga dumalo na umuwi. At ang sabi ng mga dumalo na hindi daw sila uuwi hanggat hindi makakabalik dito sa Pilipinas, particular dito sa Davao City, si former President Rodrigo Duterte. At sinabihan lang sila na pauwi na kayo, balik na lang kayo bukas. Ayan. So expected ngayong araw o mamayang hapon ipagpapatuloy itong sinagawang rally or candlelighting activity in support of former President Rodrigo Duterte. Sa ngayon, walang pang tao doon sa sa Rizal Park sa Davao City. Sa tabi lang ng Davao City Hall kung saan ginanap yung prayer rally. Pero may mga stage na i-set up doon, pero hindi doon sa prayer rally, kundi sa in preparation na sa 88 araw ng Davao ngayong weekend. So expected sana na pupunta si Vice President Sara Duterte. Inahok, makikisali sa parade, sa parada ng 88 araw ng Davao, pero hindi pa natin na-confirm kung pupunta ba siya o dadalo pa siya kasi nga kasalukuyang papunta siya ngayon sa Netherlands para tingnan ang sitwasyon ng kanyang ama na inaresto ng Interpol para pupunta doon sa The Hague ng ICC.
So as we speak, tuloy naman yung magiging selebrasyon ng Davao Day dyan sa weekend.
Yes, tama ka nga dyan, Angela. No? Nakausap din natin si Vice Mayor Melchor Quintain Jr. kahapon at sabi niya, despite na nangyari sa mga Duterte, kay former President Rodrigo Duterte, all set na. Tuloy na tuloy pa rin ang activity, mga series of activity na nakaline up in celebration sa 88 araw ng Davao. Pero medyo malungkot, no? Sabi nga niya na medyo malungkot ngayon ang celebration kasi nga sa nangyari. Kaya former President Rodrigo Duterte sa sa pag-aresto. Kasi nga, na-expect na every araw ng Davao is makikinahok ito nga pamilya Duterte, especially si former mayor at former President Rodrigo Duterte. So sa ngayon, mukhang hindi makakadalong itong si former President Rodrigo Duterte sa celebration ng araw ng Davao ngayong weekend kasi nga inaresto siya kahapon ng umaga.
Alright, sige.
Go ahead.
No, I just want to say thank you to Bril Montalvo for giving updates there in Davao. Thank you, Bril. Yan, si Bril kasi ang ating News 5 correspondent doon. And yun nga, as we've mentioned earlier, ay magkakaroon kasi ng Davao Day dyan sa weekend sa Davao. And tuloy naman daw yung mga activities nila. Although it's going to be different right now because of what happened nga kay former President Rodrigo Duterte.
Alright, don't go away because we're not done yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News.
Now, Jesuit priest Father Albert Alejo welcomed the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte, saying that the families of EJK victims have long been waiting for this. Gretchen Ho has the report.
Father Albert Alejo was in shock Tuesday morning as he woke up to news he did not expect.
When I opened my cell phone at 6 a.m. here in Vienna, I was pleasantly surprised, but I was not able to capture immediately my own emotion. So I've been expecting this. I've been praying for this. Now it's happening. It's kind of still surprising. Ibang matagal mo hinihintay, matagal mo pinagtrabahuan, pero nung dumating, medyo magugulat ka pa rin.
Alejo is one of the priests who was vocal during the Duterte administration, speaking out against the war on drugs, advocating for human rights, and serving as a voice for the victims of extrajudicial killings.
Nakausap niyo na po ba sila lately?
Siyempre, mas malayo ako eh. May mga text-text lang.
Ano
Medyo
po sabi?
ingit niya ako doon sa mga malapit doon. Pero siyempre, merong mga chat groups. Oo. Na mangyak-ngyak. Sinasabi, Father, naiyak ako sa mga nangyari. Sana tuloy-tuloy na to.
He also admitted on Morning Matters that he took care of some ICC witnesses, including whistleblowers Edgar Matobato and Arturo Las Cañas, hitmen from the Davao Death Squad.
Pwede namang aminin, dumating sa kamay ko na. So, Father, pakialagaan mo muna to. Nung tinanong ko, si Edgar Matobato, nung nag-usap kami, sabi ko, anong gusto mong mangyari? Sabi niya, Father, dami kong kasalanan, dami kong napatay, at kasalanan ko yon. At handa akong parusahan ninyo, ibitay nyo ako, isilya electrica nyo ako, i-firing squad, dahil talaga namang marami akong napatay. Kaya lang, Father, inutusan kami. May isang grupo kami na sa tingin namin, akala namin yun yung magandang paraan ng paglilinis ng lipunan. Pero nung nakita namin na may mga pinapatay na wala namang pakalang kasalanan, may niraid kami ng mga estudyanteng babae na wala naman kami nahuling shabu man lang, tapos nirape muna bago patayin. Parang hinipo sila ng Panginoon. Si Las Cañas, siya talaga yung mastermind ng mga designing ng ng pagpatay na talagang malapit na malapit sa kamay ni Duterte. Katunayan, inamin naman niya sa kanyang press conference doon pa mismo sa Senate na dalawang kapatid ni Arturo Las Cañas, dalawang kapatid niyang lalaki, napatay ng grupo nila. Pinatay ng grupo nila. Kasama siya, sabi niya, out of his own blind loyalty to Rodrigo Duterte nung mayor pa siya. Kaya kung bakit niya gagawin yun at ba't niya aminin kung hindi totoo yun, no? At inamin din niya na may mga panahon na nasilaw rin siya sa pera kasi may mga bayad yun eh.
Si Edgar Matobato at saka si Arturo Las Cañas, kamusta po lagay nila ngayon?
Nakalabas na sila ng bansa, no? Finally. So, na yun? Hawak na sila ng ICC na mga Witness Protection Program.
For taking care of them, Alejo even got his own death threats.
Kami nila, Father Flavi, ganun. So,
Father Robert.
Doon sa party na, meron ding death threat si Robert. Swerte pa nga kami, may threat lang kami. Yung iba, wala nang threat, pinatay na diretso eh. May sinasabi na papatayin kita, alam namin may tinatago ka.
When asked how confident he is over the buildup of the case against former President Rodrigo Duterte at the International Criminal Court, Father Albert says there's a rich collection of evidence from the first 7 months of the Duterte administration.
Yung unang 7 months, yung unang 7 buwan, nung humihingi ang mga journalist ng mga police reports, ang Philippine National Police, maluwag na maluwag nagbibigay sila ng police report. Pinagmamagaling kasi nila yun noon eh. Mayroon talagang mga ebidensya na galing mismo sa police. May mga dagdag dito. Ano pa? Siyempre, wala namang volunteer killers eh. Bayad yan eh. So, kailangan mo i-trace yung money flow. meron ding nakuhang mga materials tungkol dyan.
It will be a long journey, as the 3 judges of the pre-trial chamber will first have to go through a stage to determine if there's enough evidence to proceed to an actual trial, a process that could take at least 2 months.
The fact that we reach this point is already a sign of hope. Okay? Ngayon, ang masisiguro natin ay tama ang mga proseso niyan at magiging patas ang pagdidebate dyan. Hindi katulad ng ginawa nilang pagpatay na hindi man lang umabot sa paghahabla.
In time for the Lenten season, Father Albert had a message for the Filipino Catholic faithful.
Harapin natin yung katotohanan na hindi isang tao lang may kasalanan dito. Isang buong lipunan na pumalakpak. Yung mga kamay na may dugo sa ating mga kamay, mga palakpak pa sa mga pagpatay. Ngayon, siguro mahal na araw. Ewan ko, nag-imbita ka ng pari, di may konting sermon. Mahal na araw, kailangan natin isang pambansang pagdagok sa dibdib. Pambansang mea culpa. Walang pinabayaan natin ito Maghugas ng kamay at maghugas ng puso.
Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police is now on high alert after former President Duterte's arrest. All police units nationwide were ordered to prepare for possible protests and unrest. Authorities expect mass actions following the former president's detention. The PNP said the heightened alert aims to ensure security and public order.
Yan, so this is just starting actually. More updates will be coming. Of course, we were waiting for some videos or clips of former President Duterte in his detention facility or pagharap niya sa mga judges. Ano magiging tugon ng judges? Kailan magsisimula ang trial?
Yes.
Among others, ano ang plano for former Senator Bato de la Rosa? And likewise, si BP Sara.
Yes.
Ano plano?
And earlier today, we were able to talk to former Senator Sonny Trillanes IV.
Yes.
No? At pwede na balikan yung interview na yan later on sa ating live stream.
Oh yes, well that caps off a story-packed day for news and views. But before we let you go, I'd like to leave you with a quote that hopefully would knock some sense into our minds. The quote goes, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." Anonymous. And that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro.
And I'm definitely Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.